Alright, my name is Giovanni and I'm here to talk about 1D motion. 1D motion is any type of motion or movement or traveling in the X direction. It could be backwards, forwards, left or right, but not up or down because you're trying to avoid using anything having to do with the y-axis. That y-axis includes gravity, and in 1D motion there is no gravity included, so we avoid that part out of any equations that we do. So when we're moving forward on this x-axis, or in this case to the right, your movement is positive. But if we were to move to the left, your movement is negative. So using that, with those two basic things, in 1D motion we can figure out two things: displacement and distance. Displacement and distance. Both of these things are lengths, they're numbers, but one of them is a vector, which is the vector is your displacement, and distance is scalar because it's just a number. Now, I said both of these things are lengths, so what's the difference between them other than them being scalar and vector? I'm about to show you. For displacement, you can start here and travel all over the place. Oh, then go there, then over there, then over there, then over there, and stop right here. So that's your starting point and that's your ending point. Your displacement is the length between, oh God, this is terrible. The length between your starting and ending point, no matter where they are. It's only the starting and ending point. I know it's a mess, but I was just trying to get my point across that displacement is only the distance between your start and your end. So let me draw a little bit more simple, a little simple one. Let's say you started off here, traveled 3 miles north, 2 miles that way, and then 1 mile that way. Here, your displacement would not be 3 plus 2 plus 1. Your displacement would be the distance from your starting point and your ending point. Your displacement would be the distance between those 2 points. Now, we already went through, kind of already saw what distance is. Distance is what you travel. So let me put S for start, F for finish. S for start, F for finish. So that's your starting point. Your distance would include the number 2 and the number 3. The 2 miles traveled up and the 3 miles traveled to the side, which add up to 5. So your distance in this case would be 5. Right? Now your displacement would be this. How would you find that? In this case, since it's like a triangle, we'll do the Pythagorean theorem, which is 2 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared, and c squared equals 4 plus 9, 15. So the square root of 15 would be the magnitude that you get for this problem. My work is messy, but trust that it's correct. It's square root of 15, but you have to add a direction since it's a vector. Displacement's a vector. Distance is scalar, so distance only has a number, displacement has a number and a direction. So in this case, your direction is north northeast. So your answer would be square root of 15 northeast for displacement, and then 5 for distance with no direction. Okay, that's that. Now, what does this have to do with 1D motion? Well, let me give you another example. Let's say I'm bringing back the positive and negative directions of that you travel in the 1D motion x-axis area. We start, I'm gonna draw something and then I'll explain it. Start, finish, 7, 3. Okay. Simple drawing, start and finish. So let's say you travel 7 miles, right? Then you backtrack 3 miles. What would be your distance? And what would be your displacement? Would they be the same? Would they be different? So take a look at that. Now, I'm gonna explain to you what is what. So your distance would be the total you travel, 7 plus 3, which will get you 10. Keep in mind it's scalar, so it doesn't have a direction, it's just the magnitude. Distance equals 10. Now, for displacement is when you will include the positive and negative directions. So, since this is traveling to the right, that's traveling in the positive direction, right? And then you backtrack 3, so this is traveling back in the negative direction. So then what we're gonna do to find our displacement is do 7 minus 3 equals 4 to get us 4. Yeah. And our direction will be to the right, or you can say, sorry, this is to the east. Okay, that's the problem. Now, how could a class do a lab on this, test it in class? Well, let's say your teacher wants you to work on this and like find out, you know, teach you how to do a lab inside where you learn what the difference between distance and displacement is. Well, basically, let me just draw it for you. Your teacher could be in the room telling you to travel 10 steps forward, 5 steps to the right, and then 3 steps back, and then ask you what the difference between your distance and displacement is. And we pretty much went over that in this whole video. So your distance would be 10 plus 5 plus 3, because that's the distance you traveled. Your displacement would be this area, which you could figure out somehow. Yeah. Well, actually, let's try and figure that out. So then this will be, you can cut that off of here. You get 10 minus 3, you get 7 for this height right here. This equals 5. I hope y'all understand what I'm doing. And then to find this, you just do 5 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. And 25 plus 7, oh my god, 7 times 4, 7 times 5, let me see. Okay, 49 equals 69, 69 plus 5, 74. square root of 74 would be your displacement with the direction of northeast. Is that correct? Yes, northeast, because this is our start and this is our finish. So let me go through this one more time. Your distance would be 10 plus 5 plus 3, because that's the length you traveled to get from your start to your finish. So you travel 10 up, 5 to the right, 3 down. In this, since it's a scalar, you don't include direction, so if you do travel downward or to the left, it will not subtract, it will just add up since it's distance. And then displacement, you find the distance directly between your start and your finish. And the way that works, what I did was I did the Pythagorean theorem, figured out this was a right triangle again. I know that that's the length between those two is 5, because it's the same as that. And then I subtracted 3 from 10 to give me 7 right here. And then 5 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. And then found the square root of these two added together and gave it a direction because displacement is a vector. Thank you.